iOS app, log in with the user account which you generally use to do your usual functionalities. All the access matrix can be managed similar to a Canvas app or similar to a Power App. You can also extend the access matrix to the app registration. So if you go to Azure app registration, you can add your roles, users, all those things you can do. So that is the use case which this wrap functionality or wrap feature is providing for you to use the Canvas app of Power Apps. Okay, it's an ability for distributing the Canvas apps to users within the organization as well as to your partners, to your vendors, in such a way that they don't need to follow a lengthy process of how to set up a Power App mobile or a Dynamics 365 app or a field service app. Instead, directly use a familiar way of installing an Android or a app iOS app directly in their phone or tablet and start using the functionalities, right? So that's the main functionality that the app provides. So we'll quickly go ahead. So I'm not going to deep dive into what is this, how this wrap works by PPTs. This will be the only slide. After that, we'll directly go into the demo and start creating a wrap or a wrap project. Okay, so wrap is nothing but a Canvas app, which you're wrapping it around by using various functionalities. So you can see there is something called branding assets. You have your app registration, and you create a wrap project which will then give you the output. So I'll tell you what all these things mean when we go into the demo. Okay, so why these things are required. And you also have something called primary Canvas apps, secondary Canvas apps. All those things we will discuss while we go into the demo. Okay, so what we are going to do in this demo, we are going to create a simple Canvas app. So I'm not going to create a Canvas app. It will take more time. So I mean, what we will do is we will just use an existing Canvas app, or we'll use one of the templates that Microsoft has provided to create a Canvas app, and we'll wrap it as an Android APK. So there are many websites, many YouTube videos which will tell you how to create an iOS app, but Android, not much. So let's focus on Android this time. What you are going to do and what you will need is basically you need something called Android Studio. You have to generate some certificate key, signature hash, all those things. I'll tell you how those things work. You might need an Azure Key Vault. I will show you the features of that as well. Yes, Sanjeev.
Quick one, Michael. This is fantastic, man. Golak, is this being recorded, buddy?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
I just
super. Yeah,
started the recording because
excellent, buddy.
initially, okay, if this is the
Yeah,
time with your permission, everyone, I pasted in the chat window also. I just started the recording. Thank you, everyone.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
over to Michael.
Yeah, thank you. So we are going to use, I mean, I'll show you the steps of how to use the Azure Key Vault. It's a new feature, a preview feature. But it's still an optional feature. It's used for doing an automated signing of the Android apps, Android APK. I'll show you that, but there is some problem in how it works, so it will not work. What I will do is I'll show you the automated signing, then I'll do the manual signing and I'll show it to you. So I have been talking to the Microsoft team behind this RAP project as well last few days. Today morning, they came back saying that they are automating lots of things as part of the next release for this RAP feature. So this signing and certain permissions that is required, everything is going to be automated. But still, whatever is currently available in the system, I will show you all those things today. Okay, so I'm not going to do the Google Play signing because it will take time. So I'll do the manual signing and I will install it in an Android device and will show you how it works. Okay, but I have given the links for each and everything as part of this deck as well. I think Oleg or the team will share it across as part of the final emailer. Yeah. Okay, so what we need to do this wrap project, obviously we need the Power App access. We need the Azure Key Vault access. As I said, it's only for auto signing, so it's an optional process. We need to do an app registration. We also need Android Studio. We will need an OpenSSL setup installed in your Windows system or an Apple system, Apple Mac OS, to do the certificate hashing and all those things, signature hashing. If there is an issue with how you create it, then you might need a hexadecimal to base64 converter. Again, I'm not going to cover this step because it will work without this as well. In case you need it, there are steps in this deck. You will need a Visual Studio App Center. Again, I'll tell you what it is required for and all those things. And obviously an image creator or a resizer tool, because the process or the wizard is very particular about the image size and all those things. Okay. And this is the high level step. We will, before I explain all these things, let's go to our Dynamics or Power App portal. Okay. So this is your Power Platform Admin Center. Once you have got all your prerequisites set up, all your access, everything is set up, you just need to make sure there is a solution called RAP, which is present in the app source, which needs to be installed to make your entire functionality to work. Okay, so RAP functionality is already installed in this environment, which I'm going to show you. So I'll just show you what is that solution and all those things. I think it's a bit slow. Let me close my OneDrive maybe. Okay. Okay. So I go to your environment, and on the right hand side, you will see something called Dynamics 365 apps, which is the one you use to install any additional apps that Microsoft has given as part of their setup or platform setup. Or if you want any third party apps, you can also install it from app source. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to click install app, and in the list you will see at the bottom called RAP for Power Apps. Okay, right now, since it is already enabled in my environment, it's not showing up here. Let me move this somewhere here. Yeah, so you can see here RAP for Power Apps that is already installed. Okay, so this is the first step, and that's what we are showing in our PPT as well. Install RAP solution from the app source. Okay, then we are going to create a simple Canvas app. So as I said, I'm not going to create a Canvas app. To save time, let's just use an app that is already provided as a template. Okay, so what we will do is let's pick up this leave request app because it's a very basic app. It needs very simple permissions that I already have in my Azure subscription. So we will not have any issues. Okay, so let's make this as leave request Singapore Power Platform user group demo. Okay. So I'm just to save time, I have just already planned everything, right? So instead of typing everything, I already copied and pasted it in my cheat sheet so that we can quickly do it. Okay. So now the simple app is created. It's a simple leave request app, which is basically as an employee, I can go to this app, create a leave request saying that I'll be on vacation on this date, and it will be visible to the manager who can also log into the app, approve the leave request, and go ahead. So that's the entire functionality of this app. I can click a preview as well, so you can see to submit a leave request. You can click here, right? So click plus, and you can create your own request for leaves. Okay, so I'll quickly save this, and let's proceed to the RAP creation. Okay, so now we have created a Canvas app. We have also installed the RAP solution. However, the RAP feature will not turn on for this app till the Canvas app is part of a Power App solution or a Dynamics 365 solution. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to add this Canvas app to a Power App solution. Okay, so once it is saved, just go back. It's still saving. Okay. So meanwhile, I'll go to my steps, right? So this is what we have done. We have installed the app solution. We have created a Canvas app. We are now going to create a simple Power App solution and add the Canvas app to the solution. Once it is done, you can see the wrap button in your app. Okay. So let's go back. Let's go to our apps and let's see if our app is there. This is the one. So this is our leave request app. So you can see this app doesn't have the wrap button. Okay. So before, for my own knowledge, I had created a few other apps. So you can see this particular onboarding tasks app have a wrap button, right? But this doesn't have. This is because you need to make sure your app is part of a Power App solution. Okay. So I'll go to my not this one. Okay, I can go to the app solution itself. Then I will click add existing app, Canvas app, outside Dataverse, and choose the app that we created now. Okay. So once the app is added to the solution, now you can see the wrap button. Okay. So before we go and do the wrap steps, which is given in the gray color in this entire flow, we have to do some prerequisites. The prerequisites involve creating something in the Visual Studio App Center and then doing something related to certificate key and hash. So what is this App Center, Visual Studio Apps Center? If you already know about this, well and good. If not, this is Microsoft Visual Studio App Center. It's all SaaS based platform, which is required or used for publishing or building, distributing, and debugging, analyzing, or whatever it is, monitoring any type of mobile apps for any platform. It can be Android, it can be Play Store, the Apple iOS or Mac OS, Windows, anything. So all these apps you can build, you can monitor, you can publish, distribute all those things via this App Center. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll go to my App Center. I already kept it open here. So to make sure, so why we are doing this? So as I said, it's for publishing your apps, right? So whatever app that I'm going to wrap in my Power Apps, I will be publishing it via this App Center, and that publishing pipeline or the distribution pipeline can be set up only if I have something called an organization. Okay, so you go to this all apps, click this add new organization and create an organization. So I already created an organization called demo org. Inside that, now what you need to do is you need to create a new app. Okay, so for each and every app that you create a new app. Now let's give it's the name that we copied, right? So this is our app name. You can choose a release type, still it's optional. I'm giving it as alpha. As we already discussed, our demo is for Android platform. If it is an Android platform delivery, you need to set the platform as React Native. Okay. If it is iOS, you just need to go with, I think it will be custom. Okay. So if it's iOS, you have to choose custom. If it is Android, you have to choose OS as Android and platform as React Native. Okay. Then click new, and that's it. So you can just copy this and keep it with you. You will not be using this, but you know, let's keep it for us. Next step. So let's go to our flow chart. The next step is to install Android Studio and then generate the certificate key and hash. So what is this Android Studio for? Right. So Android Studio, as you can tell from the name, it is to build your Android apps, right? So I already installed the Android Studio. You just need to go to the, search for Google, Android Studio in Google or Bing, and you can download it and install it. I will show you the Android Studio, but we are not going to do anything from inside the studio. Okay, so we are only going to use the command line tools of Android Studio for doing some certification and hash. So what is the certificate and hash? So you have built an app in Canvas app, you have wrapped it and you have distributed it to your users. They will install it in your mobile, in their mobiles as an Android app or as an Apple app. Now, how will you make sure the app that is being installed, the app that is trying to take data from your Power Apps database or your Dataverse database is the right app or the app that you built, right? So you need a kind of an authentication. Apart from giving a username password, you also need the client server authentication, right? So usually they will do this certificate authentication or token authentication, all those things, right? Also lots of authentications are there. So here what they do is when they build the app or the APK file, they will sign it by using a certificate. Okay, so that is a client. You take the APK, put it in your client device, and you install it, which is already signed, saying that, hey, this APK file is given by my organization. In our case, Singapore Power Platform User Group organization has created this APK, has signed it using the certificate. Go ahead and install it. Now, when this APK is trying to connect to your server, you need some kind of verification mechanism to say that this certificate that is used by the APK is the right certificate, right? So what you do is you take the signature hash, which is nothing but the client certificates, the print, right? You will have some fingerprint kind of thing in the certificate. That hashed value is stored in the Azure app registration. Okay, so why Azure app registration? It's via Azure apps that you are trying to connect to Canvas app. So the flow is like this. Let me try to put it here. The flow is like this. So from your APK, which is installed in your client, right? You have your certificate, which does the, saying that, hey, this is the APK that I gave you. This goes to your Azure app, which has the signature hash, okay, which does the second next level of verification. Then obviously you will have your Azure Active Directory because you're entering your username and password. Once all this authentication is done, it is then redirected to your Canvas app. Okay. So this is how it happens. So now what we need to do is we need to get this two sorted. So as you can easily see here, first we need to generate a certificate. We need to generate a signature hash, and we also need to do an Azure app registration. Okay, we have to register an app in Azure saying that, hey, this is the app that is going to connect to the Canvas app in my Active Directory. Okay, so what we are going to do is, yeah, so this is my Android Studio. As I said, I'm not going to do anything with it. All I need to do is I need to generate the certificate. And to generate the certificate, I just need to use something called Key Tool, which is part of the Android Studio. Okay, so to save time, I've already stored the path where this tool is available. The online or the Microsoft articles, everything will talk about JRE folder. But since I installed the Java and I think the basic version or the common module, I got the key tool present in the JBR folder. So everything is part of the PPT. You can refer to it. Okay. So this is my folder, and this is the two key tool that is required. So as you can see from the format, the key tool is just creating a certificate, okay, PFX file with a password. So I'll be entering that password also when this is created. Okay, so let me run this. I'm lazy. I have the password also with me. Okay, enter. You give your details. I think it's, let's give the same thing, right? So these are basic details to create the certificate. If you raise a new cert request, CSR request from your machine or from any other tools, this is the same set of information that you give as well, right? So same thing we are giving here. Now the certificate gets created behind the scenes in the same folder, this particular path. Okay, so we'll copy this, go to our folder explorer and search for this certificate. Okay, so what is the name of the certificate that we gave? It is SGPPUG lever request app. Okay, leave request app. Let's see. So this is the one. Okay, 1133, it got created. I'll copy this and move it to my demo folder. Okay, because I have some other command prompts using this. Okay, so if you saw in our entire setup, we did the certificate now generated. Now we have to do the signature hash so that we can use it in the app registration, right? So again, it's again the same key tool. I already have the command for this. So this key tool is basically doing a signature hash by exporting the certificate using the hexadecimal value in the in the certificate fine print fingerprint, and then converting into something called base64. So for this to work, you need to have this open SSL uh, installed in your system. So again, you have the steps on how to install it in the PPT. I have given it as part of the prerequisite itself. So you can see how to install on Windows. Then you also have the library and all those things. So go ahead and try it out. This is not part of any of the Microsoft blogs. So maybe you can use this link to see how it works. Okay. So let's try to generate our signature hash now. Okay. So this is our password. Enter. This is your signature hash. Just copy it and keep it safe because we'll be using it when we do the wrap. Okay. So now let's go back to our PPT. So we did this app center. We have generated certificate key and signature hash. Then we need to do something called key vault and then upload the certificate, right? So let's go back to Azure. So why we need this key vault? So as part of this entire process, I mentioned that the APK needs to be signed automatically using the certificate before you can do and install it in a Google, in an Android OS, in Android ecosystem, right? So to sign it, you can obviously do a manual signing after the APK is generated, but Microsoft has given you a way as part of the entire wrap project where if you just down upload the certificate in a key vault, you can use that certificate and key pair and all those things to automatically do the signing as part of the build process. Unfortunately, this is not working right now properly. So I will be doing the manual signing, but still I will show you what needs to be done in the key vault and how that automated signing will happen. Okay, so I already have a key vault in place. So you go to certificates, you import your certificate. Okay, click import, select the file. Um, what is our file name? 25th, today's 25th. So this is the one leave request tab. Okay, let's put this. Let's copy the certificate name. Let's give them the certificate name, and we also know the password. Okay, click create. And there you go. Certificate is uploaded. Now, as part of the next step, you need to create a tag. So this is where it gets a bit confusing. In some of the blogs, Microsoft blogs itself, they say you have to create three tags for Android apps, but in some places they say only one. So it's a bit confusing. That's why maybe it's not working. So I will check. I'm checking with Microsoft on this. Hopefully, once I get an answer, I will post it in the LinkedIn or in my blog. You can refer to it. So here, what you need to do in the tag is you need to say what is your app package name and then your value. Value is nothing but the certificate name. Okay. So when I do the wrapping, I'm going to give this name as my package name or my bundle ID. So I'll give this here. Okay. Then my certificate name, I think my certificate name, this one. Copy this and I'll paste it here. Okay. So now the steps for automated signing is completed. Again, this is an optional step. If you want, you can go ahead with it, or you can directly go ahead with manual signing, which is what I'm going to do today. Okay, now let's go back to Power Apps. Okay, so if you see here, in our PowerPoint. So we have completed the first 5 steps and the sixth step as well, actually. Then we have to do the wrap wizard functionality. So this entire gray color is part of the wrap wizard, which also includes the app registration and the permissions, everything. It will be automated. Okay. So I also have given your steps as part of my slide deck, which you can try it out as well. Okay. So we did this. Now we are here. So let's go and use the wrap wizard. Go to your Power Apps and go to Apps. Our app name is Leave Request SGPPUG. Select this, click wrap. So last time you were not able to see the wrap button. Now you can see. So there's one more point here. The wrap button will be visible only if you add the app to the Dynamics registration, to the Power App solution. Along with that, you also need to have edit or owner permissions on the app, or else you won't be able to see the app button. Okay. So here you will see these options, which is what you can see in many of the blogs, YouTube videos where they have used this native way of creating the entire app. But we will try the preview method, which is the wrap wizard. Okay. So I'll click get started. So this is where you see the primary app and the secondary, select secondary app, which you can test it. Okay, so what is this primary app and secondary app concept? So what Microsoft says is instead of building all your functionalities into a single app, which will or might have a performance impact uh, when the app loads, right? First time when the app loads, there might be a performance impact. So instead, you can split your features into multiple apps, and you can give a control or the pass the control between apps as when you build the Canvas app. Okay, so that's one way of splitting what is getting loaded when you open the app for the first time. So you can try that out. You can create multiple apps. You can do the transfer between multiple apps so that it will work. So this concept is like your super app, right? So you have Geo in India, you have your Grab in Singapore, right? So all these things are super apps where from your single app you will automatically get redirected to multiple apps, right? So I think Tata also has something, Tata Neo or something. So they all have this super app. So that's the kind of concept that Microsoft is trying to tell here. You have one primary app which will load, and when they click on a particular link or a particular button, it will automatically take you to the secondary, tertiary, all these apps. Okay. So in our demo, we are going to use only one app. So I'm selecting only the primary app and clicking next. And I already mentioned the target platform that we are going to do is Android. And we are only going to do manual installation because the Google Play signing needs a bit of a additional steps needs to be done, which is again part of the PPT that I have. You can try it out. For now, let's do the normal APK generation and signing. Okay, so let's give the bundle ID. So I will copy it from my Notepad, place it here, choose standard APK. So you can do the Google Play Store one, which will need a signing in the Google Play Store platform. iOS is also there. And you have an automated signing as well. So this automated signing will use the Azure Key Vault, which we created here. Okay. So as I said earlier, this is failing for me right now. And Microsoft is going to automate all the permissions that is required for this key vault, for registration, everything as part of the next releases as per their mail that I got today morning. Um, so I will go ahead with this Azure Key Vault URI. We'll keep it. Let's go ahead. But the build will fail anyway. Anyway, the build will take 20 minutes to build. So 20 to 30 minutes. So I will just go ahead and click next. Okay. Okay. So this is a very critical step. It looks like, okay, it's just a branding, just put some icons, images, everything will be perfect, right? But this will create lots of problems. First, this icons is a mandatory one. You have to give some icons. There is no defaulting of icons here. Second, it has to be exactly this pixel size or your build will fail and you won't have any message that pops up when the bill failed to say that, hey, this is why the bill failed. There is, since it's still a kind of a in development stage, or the functionality is still being developed, you won't have all the errors popping up or the issues reported to you. So you have to guess and do one by one. Okay, so I already have multiple images created, so I'm going to use that. And this is my 432 pixel. This is my 324 pixel, 216 pixel. This, as you can see, I tried multiple times and I failed for this. It is a bit annoying because it's just an image, right? Okay, anyway, so you can do all these things. You can also put a splash screen image. So what is a splash screen or welcome screen image? Is basically when you open the app, you get a small screen behind which the loading happens, right? So you can do that as well. This, even if you do it, don't do it, nothing will happen. So I'll just give it. I like background to be black. So I'm keeping this, and you can use a status bar theme. Again, I like black, so I'm going with the dark theme. And I click next. So as part of this process, there will be multiple errors. Obviously, first time, I don't know, at least for me, nothing worked. So I have also put together some issues that I observed. Of course, sometimes it might be silly issues, but you can see some of the issues that I saw when I was creating it. So for example, it was throwing some error like this, which I didn't have a clue about. Is required for selected platform type, blah, blah, blah. But actually what it is saying is images are mandatory, right? So these kind of errors, still it's being built. The error is not something that you can easily find out, figure out. So you might see lots of errors. Whatever error I have seen, I have put together in these two slides, and I also given the solution of what needs to be done, right, to overcome that error. Okay, so now here. So here, this is basically the app registration. So when we talked about the entire flow of how your um, your app will connect with your Canvas app. We talked about certificate, we talked about signature hash, and your Azure AD and Canvas app. Obviously, these two we already completed. Certificate is done, signature hash is done. Now, what is this Azure app? So this is what I said. It will be a registration of the app in your Azure directory saying that this app is going to connect with Canvas app. Okay, so before you go and do all these things, you need to give some permissions. The permissions are nothing but to say that third-party apps can connect to Power Apps platform. Okay, so you'll need some permissions to be set up. So you can see this permission called add admin allowed third-party apps. So this particular PowerShell script needs to be executed from your client PowerShell script, PowerShell, after importing your Power Apps admin tool. Okay, don't worry about this. All these steps are getting automated as part of the next release, is what Microsoft told me. So I have moved this entire slide to the appendix. I'm not going to show you this. In case if you want it, you can still click this link and you can see how to do it, what command to run and all those things. Okay, now let's go back. So let's assume that the permission is given for the Power Apps to allow third-party apps to connect to its data source, right? So already that PowerShell script is executed, everything is done. You can either go to, now you can either go to your Azure and do click this app registration, which you always do, right? Even if you have a portal, there will be an app registered. Even if you are doing an integration with other systems, you need to have an app registration, right? Similarly, you can create your new app registration here. All these steps can be done manually as well if you don't want to do the automated way. Again, that is part of my deck as well. I have given that because first time I tried it manually. So you can see what needs to be given: package name, redirect URI, what permissions needs to be given. Everything is already there. But right now we are going to do it in an automated way. Okay, which is nothing but going here and clicking new app registration. That's it. So now what it is asking is application name and Android signature hash. To get the signature hash only, we did some command prompt stuff earlier. So let's go back to our notepad where we copied everything. So this is my bundle ID or my application name. And where is my hash? Yes, this is my hash. Okay, copy this, paste it here. So if your hash is incorrect, you will not be able to sign into the app. Your sign in functionality of your app will fail. So you will need to check the signature hash, make sure everything is proper, all those things. Okay. So I hope I did everything correctly. Let's click save. Okay, so now what it does it verifies everything, make sure that it has all the API connections, Azure API connections, Dynamics CRM, Graph, Power App Service, mobile device management, Power BI. Okay, so in these connections, there are a couple of API permissions, this Azure API and this Power App Service, which might be missing to add when you try to do the app registration manually. Okay, so when you try to do this app registration manually, you will not be able to see this app API permissions. So if you don't know how to get this API permissions, let me quickly show you. So once your app is registered, on the left side, you can see this API permissions. So here you have all the API permissions, which we saw in this wizard as well. API connections, CRM, graph, all these things are there. So when you try to add it manually, when you try to do this app registration manually, some of the permissions might not be visible. Again, there is a PowerShell script which you can run from the Azure's PowerShell, right? So you have this Cloud Shell, right? So using this Cloud Shell, you can run that PowerShell scripts. Again, that is part of the deck. I'm not showing it to you now because this automated thing will work. Okay, click next. Now, so you created the certificate, you selected automated signing. You also mentioned the Azure app that needs to be registered. Now you need to tell how to publish the app, right? So that is done via this App Center. Okay, sorry, not this one. So which you created, right? So we created one app in our org. So now we need to link this App Center app along with our RAP project. So click get app center token. Again, this is all automated. If you want to do it manually, still you have steps. So let's copy this. So what I'm doing is basically giving an authentication token for my Power Apps wrap feature to connect with the app center for my using my own account behind the scenes. It's basically using a token. Okay, so I'm choosing the org. Now I just need to choose the app which I created. I mean the new app that I created in my app center. So there's a new app. Now click next. Just verify everything. Everything is fine. Click build. Now this build usually takes around 20-25 minutes depending on the size of the app. It could be more than that also. I remember I think day before yesterday or I think yesterday or so it took around 1 hour for an app called onboarding app, which is why I didn't show that, though that app was looking very nice. It took around 1 hour, so I didn't show the build for that app. Okay, so now this app will build is in progress. You can see that here that it is in progress. The build will fail because, as I said, the automated signing is fail. It will fail. So what we will do is once the build fails, we'll go ahead. We will just click edit in the wrap project and we will remove the automated signing and we'll proceed. Okay. So meanwhile, let's go to our deck and I'll show you what we have covered. So we have covered select app. We chose the platform. We did the branding. We did the Azure app registration. We linked the app center and we have started the build now. Okay, so if the build is successful, you can see it in this screen with the status as succeeded. Okay, once it is succeeded, you can then download the APK file from the app center. Okay, so while the build continues, which I don't know, it's already 11:54. Let's try. Hopefully, if the pipelines are free or not busy, it might build quickly.
Hi,
I
Michael.
click this. Yes, Golak.
Yeah, I think you are showing something, or I'm thinking you are it is building, right? By the time I
Yeah,
have
yeah, it's
a,
building.
yeah, it's
Yes.
building, right? In between, I have a
Mm,
curious question. Let's say from
yes.
Power Apps to
Mm.
Android and iOS, out of both, which one easiest option? It's just asking
So
out of
based
curiosity.
on, I mean, building it or doing this
Till end to
entire
end,
wrapping
till release, entire app.
till release.
Yeah.
When I saw the steps and everything, I felt iOS was easy.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they automated many steps in iOS. So as I
Mm-hmm.
said, I know today morning only I got a reply from this RAP team saying that they are going to automate many of the steps in Android's RAP process also for this permissions and all those things. So maybe this will also become easy quickly.
Yeah, I understand because it's in preview, so that's why I think it's
Yeah.
fine.
RAP,
We
this
can
RAP
understand.
wizard is in preview. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We can understand. So that should be fine because once it is by GA, by that time, hopefully this will be resolved.
We will have everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and right now we can't see the error messages as well. So if a
Yeah.
build fail or if you can't sign in, it's bit like you have to go and check each and everything, which is okay
Mm,
because it's still in preview. But maybe I
yeah.
think those are the features which will come later. And hopefully this wrap feature will also come for the Power Pages, and it will work with Azure B2C. Hopefully,
Yeah,
let's
actually,
see.
this is really helpful. Let's say people use like Xamarin and all other things. Let's say I'm talking about
Yeah.
the Microsoft platforms also.
Mm,
So if you
mm.
compare with Xamarin with this wrap, what will be the high level difference if you know? Just trying to understand.
For a person who has good knowledge on Xamarin, I think they will continue with Xamarin only. But if you
Okay.
think of people like us, right, because we have been in Dynamics for a very long time, we know
Mm,
how Power Apps work, we know how to build Canvas apps. This
mm,
is
mm.
an alternate feature, so we don't need to go and understand how Xamarin works. We don't need to
Yeah.
understand
Even for end
React.js,
users also.
all those Angular, nothing. We don't want anything. A simple
Yeah.
business analyst who goes and creates a Canvas app can now create a simple mobile app.
Yeah, then this is basically we can say any end user who
Yeah.
don't know any coding or anything because Canvas app it's like drag and drop also they can build some app.
Yes.
So this is one of their benefit. Let's say who don't know any coding or anything, they can build and release the app into the app store and it's like
Yeah.
it's very easy. And how the time process it's lot all because as per my understanding when we release to Android app store, right? uh, they we submit the request, they approve it. I
Yes.
understand the app store they approve it. Here the approval process is still it will take 24 hours something or no, it can
Yeah.
be seamless.
It will take time. So both
Okay.
Apple and Google Play Store, if you want to
Mm,
go via their Play Stores, yes, it will
yeah.
take time. Or else you
Okay.
can use Microsoft Intune and you
Mm,
can publish the app,
mm.
which is again it's via Microsoft, right? So it won't
Yeah,
take
it's
much
it,
time,
it
but
is
you
in
have to
tune,
have the
it's not
entire
like
setup.
public. Yeah,
Yes,
correct, correct.
you still have
Understand.
to have the entire app set up, Microsoft Intune setup. That's why here I'm doing a manual installation. So I'll be downloading the APK to my mobile and then I will install it in my mobile.
Yeah, because
So,
in
Michael,
tune
couple
again.
questions.
Yeah, sorry. GY, sorry, Sanjeev, you have some question, right? Over
No,
to you.
go ahead. Sorry,
No,
go
I'm
ahead.
just reiterating what you mentioned. So the company portal, then we need to install if we want to release
Yeah,
to
all those
Microsoft
things
because
are there.
Intune and all these things.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Sanjeev,
So
over to you.
yes, Sanjeev.
So, quick one in terms of updates, how do you follow the same process to do the updates to the apps?
Yes, so you have to generate a build. The build will then go and create something here called a release. So
Ah,
you
okay.
here you will get a release, and from the release you can just push it. So either you can download the APK, which I'm going to do, or you can
Yeah,
connect it to a Microsoft Intune and then release it,
which
or
means to
App Store
say,
and everything.
that from the Android side, you don't need to keep getting permission. It'll auto update through the pipeline.
Yeah. If it is via Microsoft Intune, yeah, it will auto update, or Google Play
Ah,
Store, it will auto update. Yeah, you have to set up the entire Google Play Store or Apple App Store, all those setups with this App Center.
right, right,
Only then it will automatically do.
right. Now, from a Azure side, I'm thinking scenarios, where people may not be part of the organization all the time, or there may be people who are actually developing who need only access for a couple months or something like that. Can you actually set up SaaS keys in Azure and
You can
service
add
principals?
them as guest user in your Active
Uh,
Directory.
I see.
So
Mm,
basically, that's the first use case I was saying, right? So you have a
yeah,
partner or a vendor
yeah,
who is not from your company, and you
yeah.
want to give them a functionality to work on, let's say lead generation or field service, some
Something. Yeah,
yeah. So you create
yeah.
an app distributed to them. You
Uh,
onboard their user ID as a guest in your Active Directory and give them access to
guest.
this app alone. That's it.
So, but how does
So
that work with Power Apps, Because on the Power App side, we would need a license for those people, right, to
yeah,
access?
you still need to give a license for them. They might be a guest, but they still will go via the licensing model that is already there. So if you see here,
Okay.
this
So
is
from
my
a site,
Azure tenant.
uh, uh,
So here I have
uh,
added this person, right? So my current account, this is
yeah,
a guest user from Microsoft account. So basically at
got it.
Microsoft.com or at Outlook.com, I have
Yeah,
added one user here.
got
This
it.
guy
And
is
is
like a
that,
guest user.
and then can you create a service principal and add like a bunch of guests to that, so that it becomes like a role and then,
The
um,
moment you go with that, then it will be something called multiplexing in Microsoft
oh
language, where
yes, 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 yes,
you're,
yes,
yeah, so you will be
violating the.
overcoming the licensing
But that's also a pain in
restrictions.
the neck, man, because usually, on the database side, that's kind of what we do, right? We basically
Yeah.
set up role-based access. Okay, understand.
Yeah.
Um,
Officially,
now,
yeah, this is the right way to do, but yeah.
yeah, because now you're, the good thing about this is you're actually going external, right? That's where the
Yeah,
roles come in and all that,
exactly.
right? So let me ask another question. So basically, in this scenario, see, if I were to say I'm releasing it to people on, like, let's say the shop floor to use and so on and so forth, who may not have devices from the organization, right? They could have their BYOD, like, phone. And then the idea here is instead of them, like, like a casual worker, picture it, right? If you're in any manufacturing company in India, the worker coming in over there may not have the company phone. They may have their own phone,
Correct.
and then you would use the Intune policies or something like that on top to make it secure. But
Mhm.
instead of going downloading Power Apps, they can go to either iOS or Android to download this particular app, right?
Yeah,
Now, when they do that from an authentication perspective, their first interface with the app is going to be their own, Android store authentication, right?
mm.
Yes, just to confirm,
There's no authentication with
per
Android Store.
se. Ah,
So
oh yeah, yeah.
basically, when you try to log into this app, it again asks your same Microsoft credentials only,
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got
right?
it. And
So
then when you enter your own ID, which is
mm,
your guest ID, it'll let you in because you've actually authenticated, put it on AD
yes,
here.
yeah.
Okay, got it, man.
And you will also give access for that ID on the Canvas app,
Got
and
it.
obviously licenses
Got
and all those will be there.
got it. So if you've actually outside of the organization as a private person develop some crazy app like either on iOS or Android that you want like the public to use, this is
Mm,
not the use case for that.
exactly, exactly. This is not the use case. So hopefully they will have this B2C
Uh,
feature
yeah.
in maybe
Okay.
next year or soon. Yeah.
Okay. 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 Got it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Very nice.
Yeah,
Yes, Palak.
yeah. Hi, Michael. Actually, we are already over time, so maybe I saw it is already failed from
Yes.
your app
So
point of view. You
now
can. Yep.
it failed
Sorry.
because of the Sign My App functionality. So we can just turn it off and do the same functionality. No need to change anything. Just click next, 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 and it will start the build. Okay. So this build will again take, it will take more time because last time it failed during the initial checks itself. Now it will take more time for the build to succeed. I already created this leave request as you can see it here, same app. Okay. And you can see the builder would have succeeded last time. So I already copied my apps to the to my phone, so I can share my phone screen and show you how to install. Okay. I have two apps already ready, or we can wait for 20 minutes to see this build succeed.
I think you can. So we cannot wait for 20 minutes.
Okay, so let me share my phone screen one second. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm going to install the app. So I just wanted to show you I don't have the lead request app in my installation already. There is nothing with L name. Okay, so I already downloaded the file yesterday evening. So you have the onboarding tasks as well as leave request, which I showed you in my screen, right? Both of them will succeeded. So I'll show you the leave request one. You install it. So this is the prompt that you get because you are not installing it from a Play Store, from the Google Play Store. So it will show you warning saying that, hey, it's from an untrusted source, blah, 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 all those things. You click install and it will do the installation. Okay. So I think we missed one step, which is the manual signing of the app. um, what I can show you is, what I can do is, maybe after the app it gets installed, I will share my laptop screen again and I'll show you the signing of the app. Okay, it's just one single line that needs to be executed. It's not very complicated. Okay, so now the app is installed. So this is the splash screen or welcome screen which we saw. Okay, and this is how it works. So you have to use your Azure Active Directory account. So you click sign in, and I'm going to use the account which I added as a guest, which was difficult to remember. I thought my phone will prompt me. Yes, please show me that you have saved it. I think it's this one. Let's see. No, not this one. Sorry. Ah, this one. Okay, so this is basically a guest user in my directory, right? So that's why you can see all this ext and all those things. Click next, and your app will open. Okay, so the screen is not fully filled because I have a slightly bigger phone, but you can see it actually occupying a normal phone size when you have a slab phone, right? This is a foldable one, so it's not showing that properly. So you click leave login, and you can add your entire functionality, similar to how you do it in your mobile normal apps. So I have also
Nice.
set manager and all those things, and then submit the request. The request has been submitted. Okay, So you can see all those things. So now if you are a manager, if someone is logging in as a manager, they can also do that. Log out, login as manager. So you can see it here. So this is because there is no profile set up in my photo, and all those things are not there in that manager's profile. So you can ignore that. Then you can click approve here. Okay, request has been approved. If you want to do any message, you can say approved. That's it. Okay. So this is how you can create a Canvas app, sign it, and also publish it automatically to your Android mobile. Okay. I have
Yeah.
someone sharing this, I mean, having their
Yeah,
hands raised.
Gopal. Yeah, actually, I'm just saying that. So, Gopalan, if you have question, you just open up your mic and ask. Because, and others actually, I'm just asking for another 5 minutes because we already 15 minutes ahead. I understand, but it's something interesting. If hopefully it will help everyone. Yeah, Gopalan, you can turn on your mic and ask the question.
Thanks, Mike, for the wonderful session. Actually, my question is, so you mentioned the guest users, right? Is there any limit to it? Let's say I want to do a
As
pilot
long as you have
before,
licenses.
so they
As
need to
long
have
as
a
you have
license.
licenses. Yeah, yeah, you need to give them license. Everything goes via Active Directory only. So even if you bring guest users inside, you have to give them Power Apps license
Oh, okay.
or the Canvas app license here.
So that means per user license cost will get incurred.
Yes,
Is it?
yes, we can't avoid
Actually,
that.
wait a second. No, wait a second. If I were to go with SharePoint as a data source and not Dataverse as a data source, okay, and
Mm.
I get the seeded license on M365, either like MF3 or M3. How will that work? Because I already have the license through
Uh,
M365.
that E5 or E3 something you're saying, right?
Yeah, because I
So
don't
you
need
still,
Dataverse.
yeah, but you still need to assign the Canvas app or per user license. Something is there. You need to
Oh,
give that
really?
license.
But I'm
Yeah,
not
that's how
using Dataverse, boss. I'm not
for
using
Canvas app, you still
Dataverse.
need to give license, right? If you build a Canvas app and you want to give it to
No,
someone, you
no.
still need a
So,
license.
so internally within the organization, if I build an app using my SharePoint as the data source, you don't need a per app license. Your M365. So here's the deal, right? If
You
you have a E3 license or an M3 license, M365 or an E365 license, you get Power Apps with it under the
yeah,
condition that you don't use premium connectors, right? So long as you use SharePoint as a data source, which is what many people actually use for smaller applications, I don't need a per app license. Will this work under that case?
but you still need to give the E3 license to all those
Yes,
guest
exactly,
users.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly,
Yeah,
That
exactly.
if let's
yeah,
say they are part of the organization already, let's say 1,000 people are there, and E3 or E5 whatever they have, so they still can use it, right, with their
yeah. You need to
Outlook
give them
Yeah.
login.
the license without, even if regardless of whether it's a guest user or someone is already part of your organization, you need
No,
to give that
once again,
license.
Michael, to be very clear, what I think Gopal's asking is if the guest user has a M365 license
Subscription. Yeah.
subscription, right? Not the per user Power Apps license, the M365, license, that should be good enough to do this, right?
Yeah, I'm only talking about adding licenses in the Microsoft 365
Got it.
Admin
Perfect,
Center,
man.
and
Perfect.
yeah, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
And Michael, I have a last question. Let's say in this case, I understand if it is any client server communication required, if app is developed in that way, definitely I need all these permissions. Let's say I am releasing one app just to see the weather temperature, weather information, and let's say any game or something, because it's I don't need any uh, feedback to my server end. Okay, I want it's a
Mhm.
locally anybody will play and some things. I don't think that require also any kind of licenses as such, right? Just trying to understand.
So
Locally,
It's a
yeah.
difficult question to answer, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing. When I was trying to build some other Canvas apps, the
Hmm.
Canvas app internally had some API that is being used. So for example, when I was showing you, you saw that errors, right? Office 365 errors. Similarly, I got few other errors due to which the app didn't use. So when I was trying to fix those errors, it said that your Azure subscription doesn't have license for these APIs. Uh, so as long as you don't touch any of these, I hope you don't need
Yeah,
license.
I
But
feel
yeah,
in this way, hopefully it will work. Let's say somebody just trying to check the what is the weather condition with some additional information which locally he will work. Let's say end user will work. In that case, I think no need any kind of licenses as such, because normally how people release to the Android store or app stores. So
yeah, but
that may
it's a
not be
very
required.
tricky topic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Licensing is a
understand.
very tricky topic.
Okay.
Again, so when I was trying it out, it showed me errors saying that your Azure subscription didn't have all these things. So in your
Okay.
case, if say you are using a weather forecast API or something like that, which is already part of Bing Maps or Bing
Yeah.
API, Microsoft Graph and all these things, I believe you might need something on for the Microsoft Graph, right? There should be some pay as you go subscription or something that needs to be linked to the Microsoft Graph.
Okay, if I'll not use non-Microsoft, if I'll use non-Microsoft API or something, in that case, it may not be required also.
How
But
will
anyways,
your
as we need to
Canvas app
try.
link to the non-Microsoft API? You will need to put something in between,
Any
right?
open
So
source,
that in
yeah.
between component
Mm.
will need some
Understand, understand.
license.
Got it.
Basically,
Okay,
nothing in this world is for free.
let's explore. Actually, it's really a big topic
Yeah,
to discuss. But anyways, it's a some step ahead towards public. Because
yeah.
why I raise this question? Because a lot of licenses thing will come in future. If let's say I'm developing app as an end user, I'm releasing to the public, and every public I have to again register and pay for the licenses. It's then
Mm.
not going to help actually. Okay.
So that will, I believe that will be part of your Azure B2C logic, which currently not there. So that is what I had put it in my slide,
Mm,
right?
I
This is
saw
the
it. I
topic
saw.
that we
Yep,
all are
yep.
talking about. So once the Azure B2C part starts working, where your Power Pages or your Canvas app is authenticated by Azure B2C. So we have Azure B2C as a separate Active Directory, right? If, if that happens, then the entire licensing model will change because Azure B2C gives something like 10, it's based on logins, how many people log in. I think some 10,000 login, something else is there, something, some kind of a tier is there for number of logins. So that concept will come into play. Till this functionality is there, is in place, I think we might need to get some license assigned to a person, whoever wants to use this. Okay, so
One last
we'll come
question from
back.
my side.
Yes, yes.
Can we use the developer account which Power Apps is providing? With that also we can experiment all these features, right?
I was not able to, but
Okay,
you don't need to worry because everything that I'm doing is a trial account. Okay, even
okay. So
Azure
90
has
days.
a 1 month trial, App Center
Yes.
has 1 month trial,
Okay,
this one Power Apps has 1 month trial. So you can use a trial account and play with it.
okay,
Key
got it.
Vault, everything there's a trial.
Got it. Okay, understand. Thanks.
Okay. So after removing the sign, right? So you can see that it succeeded, will succeeded. So what we will do now is we'll go to our App Center, just refresh your screen. You can see the latest APK, right? So we will need to take APK because we are not using the Google Play signing, which is the AAB. Okay. So we'll take the APK, click this, download it, and then we'll do the signing. It's just 1 minute. So I'll just show you how to do the signing. It's not very complicated. It's again using command line only. Okay, let's see the small app. It's taking 74 MB. Okay, so let's go to our folder. I'll just keep it in this folder because I have my command taking the APK from this folder only. So it will be easier for me to do it. Okay. So I'll give the app name as, what is my app name? This is my app name. Copy it. Okay. So now you just need to run a simple command which says use this PFX key, right? Which we created certificate. Use this certificate and sign this app. That's it. It's using something called APK signer, which is present in the Android Studios build tools. Okay. So let's go to our command prompt. Go to this. Copy our signer code. Sorry, I need to enter password. This is the password. This is the password for the certificate. Only then it can work. Password is incorrect. I'll type the password. Okay, now it will sign and create the file in this place. Okay, it has done the signature itself. So you won't be using this to installation. You install, you just need to use this signed APK file and do the installation. That's it. That's it. So the steps where I did the installation, it's already I have shown it to you. So going back to my deck, we have seen all this wrap wizards, releases, signing the package, and you can just install and see how it works. There are also some links on how to do the signing. Okay, so if you want to use Google signing, so you can see all these things, how to use the Android Studio, how to do the Google Play signing, Play Store signing. And there are some troubleshooting which you can also check, and some more uh, helpful slides. If you want to do any manual setup, if you want to do anything, you can try this. I think Golak can share it maybe and
Yeah,
LinkedIn post or something. But yeah,
yeah. I
that's it
think
from my side.
that's all right.
Yes, that's it from my side.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. And it's really informative session actually. To be very honest, for me also, it's like first time you are doing and we're learning how to do. I saw there is something preview is there, but never tried out. And
Thank you for
this
suggesting the topic, Golak.
but anyways, it's good that we learn at least, and along with that you choose the Android one, because iOS one we can find in the Google, YouTube, and anywhere you can get, but Android one nothing is there, and you explore and you spend some time to do your R&D. Thank you so much for the session, and thank you everyone for staying intact for another 20 minutes. Actually, I understand it's we are ahead of our exact timing, but hopefully you learn something. Thank you, Michael. Hopefully we'll see you in future, and thanks everyone. Enjoy the
Thank
weekend.
you. Thanks,
Sanjeev,
everyone.
anything from your end?
Oh, no, sir. Michael, fantastic session, man. Thank you very much for making time. Keep coming, We'll have some good
Thank
fun.
you, Dev.
Yeah.
Thank
Definitely.
you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks to
Thank you
Microsoft
everyone.
as well. They
Thanks.
responded very quickly when I sent an email for some issues and everything. Thanks
Yeah,
to
that's
Microsoft.
great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you
Thanks,
everyone. Enjoy
guys. Bye
your
bye.
weekend.
Have a
Thanks. Bye.
nice weekend.
Thank you.